And I'll try that with the microphone working. Good evening, welcome to the studio. I'm Zaraganat. I apologise for being late. I will explain in a little while when I've just got things working. I'm just doing a little bit of resetting around here because I'm going to wrap the canvas around this block, which may actually hold it a little bit more firmly. Hello, Theo. There's two pussycats are in here. Theo has been meowing. I think he wants to go out, but we don't let him out at the moment in the dark. One reason being is we have a fox that seems to be living in the garden. Not quite sure if it is or not, but we don't really want the cats out in an evening when it's maybe around and active. Oh, they're playing then. Junior was a feral cat. And you kind of wouldn't think that it doesn't really take to playing. Except he just play with Theo. Excuse me. They kind of you almost got away. They do kind of sort of play about with each other, chase each other around a little bit. And Junior doesn't chase. So this will only be loosely round because it won't tightly round. Excuse me. So about there will do. I don't even need to worry too much about this being at an angle or anything like that because all I'm doing, it's going to be tight either way. Let me put this there because I don't want to mark the canvas with the clamp. I'll do the same as the other side. Now if I'm right, well, it'll do. Wow, am I off? I've got some remedial work to do on this. I think we'll have to fill in the middle. Right. Nice hot cup of tea, that's nice. And eventually I'll stop clearing my throat. So what's happened? Why am I late? Why am I asking you? And why is that camera slipped? Why all these questions? I need a different man for that camera. So, the why. Okay, so today, Lady Zara, well, apparently it happened last night and she forgot to mention it. So Lady Zara turns the computer on, and as she describes it, nothing happens. So it has to go to the computer support department, which, given that that's a job that I've actually done, I kind of have to get involved. So I start to do some diagnostics. Now this, bearing in mind, is at about 5 o'clock. I've just finished work, which has been quite a busy sort of day. interrupted a few times for various reasons, but so laptop. No, it sounds like Doctor Who to me. Laptop in front of me. Lift it up. Lift the lid, that is. Turn the power on. Okay, nothing appears to be happening. So, quick look at the LEDs, the indicators. Most laptops have them. And I can see the disk LED is turning on and off. I can see the power lights on, and as I watch it, the Wi-Fi light comes on. Because it's connected via Wi-Fi. Most laptops, of course, tend to be. Except when I'm using them, then I plug them into the Ethernet network. That's a different thing. So, laptop's alive. Fairly obviously, it's booting up. Well, it's booting up from Hibernate, because she hibernates the PC. And so, basically the thing's running. Okay. At this point, a coincidence kicks in, but I'll tell you about that afterwards. So, next thing, so the laptop's working, screen's black. I don't mean dark, I mean black. So my first thought is actually, oh dear, graphics controller's gone. No particular reason why it should, but that was my first thought. So diagnostics, always prove your theories, or disprove them if you can. So how do I prove whether a graphics chip has failed? Well, the simplest way of doing that, especially with a laptop, is plug in an external display. And if the external display works, your graphics chip's working. Hello Wolfie, thank you for the host. And good evening. So I'm just explaining why I was late. Or rather what I was doing whilst I was late. Because yeah, if you plug an external monitor in and you get a picture, then your graphics chip is fine. So I plug a monitor in, it works. Sometimes you have to force the laptop with usually a function key to force it to do a different display. Most modern ones these days auto mirror, but just in case it doesn't, you cycle the thing a bit. But in this case, picture straight away on the screen. Graphics chip's okay. So two things then. Yeah, potentially. It worked though, didn't it? I would have looked up. I was just in the middle of doing something whilst talking, whilst thinking about something else. Yeah, so Lady Zara's laptop. So yeah, graphics chip's working okay. So two things happen. Two things then. Either the LCD panel controller that's on the panel itself has died, or the backlight's died. And well, there are other things like cables and stuff, but essentially it's one of those two. And there is a way of telling, ish, because if you get something like a bright light and shine it on the screen, if the backlight's gone, you can still see the picture. It's just really, really dim because the light, instead of coming through it from the back, goes from the front and bounces back. It's not a very good way of doing it, so it's really dim, but you can see it. Lady Zara, there's a computer. No, can't see a picture. But if you ever have this problem where you don't get a picture on an LCD but the backlight is on, you sometimes see it on TV sometimes, or I guess you sometimes also see it on some monitors when the monitor's gone to sleep and it's not a good enough monitor to also turn its backlight off, and it's sort of, the screen is kind of grey. and not quite. It's sort of lit, but it's kind of grey, not quite black. And so if you see that, you know the backlight's working. And if you can't see the picture, you know your LCD panel's failed. I couldn't see a picture, but I couldn't see the backlight either. Now that is odd because they're two completely different things. And they're controlled completely differently. And you usually don't get both fail at the same time. It's really unusual. And in fact, in most laptops, they are both of them are controlled from the graphics chip, which we knew is, well, I suppose it could be faulty, but it's essentially should be okay. Kind of already proved that. So I'm really rather puzzled at this point because everything is saying there's nothing wrong. Everything's working, or everything's not working, but it's not. Everything's working, doing what it's supposed to be doing. It just isn't doing anything. Very much like the screen's turned off. Just like when you shut the lid down. And in some older laptops, there used to be a button which the screen would press when you shut it, which would tell the computer to turn the screen off. Only on more modern laptops, and certainly on Lady Zara's, it doesn't have a button. I guess there must be a magnet in there somewhere. What was that? Excuse me a second. Something just chortled on my computer, very much like when OBS crashes, but it seems to be still running. Yeah, newer laptops I think must use things like magnets to do that. But I knew that wasn't a problem because if you shut the lid on Lady Zara's computer, it went to sleep. You've got a bad thing, your back teeth are coming through and it hurts. Wisdom teeth, ooh blimey. Yeah, it does, makes your gums sore, doesn't it? What you need is a teething ring, just like babies, so you can chew on it. Actually, probably something like toffee. Toffee that doesn't stick too much to your teeth. Possibly could be quite good because the way the teething rings work, by the way, is basically they put pressure on the gum over the tooth, and I won't say it cuts its way through because it's not quite like that, but it aids the tooth in making its way through the gum. I do not envy you gum or teeth pain at all. But I hope it goes away soon. Oh yeah, I know it will hurt, but it is actually quite a good thing to do, is to well, if you can get something just, if you like, bite on it where the tooth will be coming through. It does kind of help over time. It is one reason they give babies teething rings, which is basically just plastic that they stuff in the mouth and bite down on, and it sort of helps.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
I am. Not that I've had any babies for personal experience, you understand, but that is what they do. And if once they start to break through, I understand. Warm salty water helps keep your mouth clean around the... You'd rather not torture yourself. Yeah. I don't know. What it's kind. I find it weird because if I have a tooth pain of any kind, I have an intense desire to bite on it. Yeah, so I was fixing working on Lady Zara's laptop. And I cannot understand, well, I really can't understand how both the backlight is out and the screen is. There's nothing, well, my understanding at this point is there's nothing being spilt on it or anything. It just didn't turn on, which is really weird. It is very much like it thinks the screen is closed when it's not. Although it doesn't think it's actually closed because the laptop's awake and doesn't go to sleep. So, at this point, I am kind of resigned to the fact that I'm going to have to open up this laptop and try and see if there's anything obvious without having a circuit diagram or anything to help me with this. And so first thing you start to do is do a backup. Only that wouldn't work. So I had to fix that. Just for some reason it wouldn't start. So I do the backup, and Lady Zara replaced her laptop a few years ago now, but we still have the old one. So I start preparing that one. Doing all the updates because it hasn't done any updates for over a year. Backing that up so that whilst I'm taking the other one apart, she's got a laptop she can use. And eventually, this is now about 6:20 UK time. I try one final thing because it's really like it's something just messed up. And I tried this early on in the day, sort of, but not quite. So, shut the machine down. And then take the battery off of it. It's not plugged into the mains at this point, so there's no power on it. And you try and turn it on. And you hold the power switch on for about 30 seconds. And what that kind of does is just make sure that everything in the system is dead, because any power that's stored anywhere in capacitors, etc., it's basically thrown into the main circuit trying to start the PC up. At which point then I plug the battery back in, push the power switch, and immediately I get a screen lit up with the company logo on it, and it's working perfectly. So another FNF, fault not found. Rather pleased it worked, but yeah, one of the control chips obviously got seriously confused and needed a complete power down in order to come back to life. I kind of done that early on in the day. I obviously hadn't held the power button down for long enough that So you've tried Echo and you find it fun but very grindy. Okay. It's very grindy and slow. Oh, slow paced. Okay. PACED. that kind of paste is the sort of stuff you find in toothpaste tubes. But you've got a fun server. Okay. I did see it, by the way. I was just finishing off what I was saying. So what is this game all about then? Because I didn't have a chance to look it up, so... What is it that you're doing in the game? I know you said something about it probably last night, but as they say here in Yorkshire, I've slept since then. Survival with friends, yeah. Didn't really want to have to do this with the rug, but I've managed to sort of not work a very straight line. This I didn't. The width of this has sort of come down and gone up, so I'm having to fill in sort of a gap to try and get a fairly sort of straight line across. Not something I really want it to do because it'll sort of disturb the pattern a little bit, but it's there. You shoot a meteor down, yeah? But you need more friends. Can't you persuade them to play the game? If I remember after the stream, I'll try and remember to look it up. What was it now? About 4 days ago, I started having another go at Fortress Craft Evolve because I haven't played that for something like 18 months, and it's been seriously updated in that time, lots of times. And I kind of started the game. I played for about 30 minutes or something like that, and I sort of. I got to say about 20 minutes of doing things. It's kind of like, what do I do now? It just didn't really feel like I was any desire to do any more in the game than I'd already done. It was kind of like, I'm done now, and I'm sort of tens of hours away from the end game, but. They say it's too expensive. And you feel scammed by Humblebum. Don't they let you download stuff? Well, I'm trying to think. I think I've only ever maybe had bought something a humble bundle once. I thought they let you download things straight away. It sounds like you should be in contact with them saying what's going on. I have no idea what ideal is. These kind of these days, I always sort of did pay with credit cards, but I'm kind of more inclined these days to pay things with credit cards than I am with PayPal. Just because PayPal is PayPal, I won't say I've had bad experiences with PayPal, but let's say they are less interested in things that are not going quite right. Oh, ideal. It's okay. It's a PayPal type competitor in the Netherlands. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, Lady Zara's had some problems as well where PayPal have gone, no, it's more than 30 days. And it's kind of like they still haven't supplied the stuff, and it's no, more than 30 days. Or whatever the thing, the time limit is. And with other stuff like credit cards, it's and especially when you buy things like theatre tickets, and you buy them anything up to like a year in advance, and if they then don't sort of supply the things at the end, I know Lady Zara has gone to the credit card company and said they've not supplied it. Bought this a year ago, and they've not supplied. It was sort of tomorrow type of thing, and they've just gone, oh yeah, okay, here's your money back, no question answer. So you use ideal, like a debit card. Okay, I mean PayPal can be linked to your bank account, which I don't particularly like. I don't want it linked to my bank account. I want the only way to be verified with PayPal is to have it linked to your bank account, certainly in the UK, which is a pain in the neck because I do not want money coming out of my bank account. I want to control the money. I always use a credit card, and every time with PayPal I do anything with PayPal, I have to keep changing it to, I want you to use my credit card. She's a real pain in the neck. You can't permanently tell it every time you take something, I want you to use the credit card. And so I get quite annoyed with it. And it's one reason why I don't bother, because it is quicker to complete an order and with a credit card than it is to go through PayPal to change it to being a credit card to then authorize, and it goes. So I don't often use it these days, and it's not like it gives you all that much privacy, because you still have to give the company your address in order to send whatever it is that you want. Oh, you can't use debit. Okay. Well, I guess every country is different. I don't particularly like using the debit card. I don't particularly have a problem with it. It's just, you know, I've got used to over the years using a credit card, and I manage the finances that way. Yeah, I mentioned a weird coincidence with Lady Zara's laptop today as well. I have been watching today, whilst I've been working, a guy called Louis Grossman. He's in New York. He repairs Apple Mac computers unofficially. And the real weird thing is, just before Lady Zara came in with her problem on her laptop, I just watched a video of him repairing a laptop where the screen stopped working, which was really kind of spooky in a way. You know what I'm waiting for in terms of payment systems? I'm waiting for it to happen, not that I want it to. And that is the day when you have to have a mobile phone in order to pay for anything. And you get things like Apple Pay these days, and it's you're being forced into having to have a mobile, you know, a smartphone. And it's getting quite irritating, because I do have a smartphone, and the only time it comes out of the drawer is when I go out. And if I'm expecting a phone call, then what I do is I divert the home telephone number to the mobile. And yet, the number of times when you order things now online, they require you to enter your mobile telephone number. Now, at one time, what I used to do is just enter the home number. They've got clever now, and they actually check if it is a mobile number, because you can tell from the number range, where it starts 07, for example. And what accept a home telephone number? It's kind of like, why do you want my mobile number? There's no reason for you to have my mobile number. And even when you ring the companies up sometimes to try and order, they still want your mobile number. Why do you want that? So, you know, I've had one say, send me a text. I can send you a text message, you know, when your order's dispatched. Well, what happens if I'm not bothered about when you dispatched it? Oh, we've got to have a telephone number because we've got to send you the text message. Well, use my home number. You can send a text message to that. No, you can't. I've had all sorts of arguments, and you can send text messages to landlines here in the UK anyway. And I've probably told this story before, but it gets really irritating, and it's kind of like, we don't, usually what we end up saying is we don't have a mobile phone. And people don't believe you. it's kind of why what you give him, because we don't have them. Actually I do, but so I am kind of lying, but Lady Zava doesn't have one. And we have, I don't think we've ever actually had somebody refuse to place an order, but it's getting that way close. You almost feel like making up a completely random number, but the problem is it might turn out to be somebody who then goes, I didn't order that, and cancel it. It's an option, but like a forced, yeah. I think half the time these days it seems to be the answer is a mobile phone. Now what's the question? Yeah, everything seems to, it's got to have some form of link to a mobile phone. I mean, it's kind of. I think it's getting kind of ridiculous, you know. It's like the smart home stuff, you know. If you want to turn your light bulbs on, you know, you buy this light bulb that costs you, I don't know, 30 euros for a light bulb, because this light bulb is smart. It will talk to your mobile phone. Why that makes it smart, I'm not quite sure. You don't need much intelligence to be able to use Wi-Fi. I mean, it's quite easy to prove that because I use Wi-Fi. And it's kind of like, so you can switch your light bulbs on and off with a mobile phone. Oh dear. For me, if I had one of these bulbs, let's say I had one of these bulbs in one of our bedrooms, what I'd end up having to do if I wanted to switch the light on, let's say in the middle of the night, what I'd have to do is I'd have to get out of the bed. Not that we're asleep in that bedroom, but get out of bed, walk from the back of the house to the front of the house, down the stairs, from the front of the house to the back of the house, to right to the back of the studio, to my working office, to pick up the phone. I suppose I could turn the light on there, but then walk all the way back through there, right back to the front of the house, upstairs, go back to the bedroom. That'll take me about 2 to 3 minutes, by which time I'm wide awake and I probably need the light on to read for the next hour or two. It's kind of like, why is that smart? What's smart about that? It's glorified remote control. Can it swim? Oh dear, there are times when you do feel like finding out. Now, one of my colleagues at work did buy some of these light bulbs for his house, and he was saying how he's basically stopped using them because it started with his wife. Some of these light bulbs, they only link to one mobile phone. So his wife would have to ask him to turn the lights on and off. But then what started to happen is the kids that he had, they wanted a light on, so they click the light switch, and of course it wouldn't come on, so they click it again, which would turn it off. But then when you turn the switch off on the wall, your mobile phone does, well, your mobile phone works, but it won't switch the light on anymore because there's no power. And the kids kept sort of going, oh, you know, kind of, and leaving it switched off. So he still had to get up to go to the light switch, to switch the light switch on, so that he could then go to his mobile phone to turn the lights on. He gave up. So much for intelligent light bulbs. Whilst I do want to have smart lighting here in the studio and in the house, it won't be done like that. I will be replacing the light switches with light switches that can be remote controlled. They can also work using the switch on the front of them. So we don't have that problem. And that way then, although you're paying about 40 or 50 pounds, that'll be about 60 euros for a light switch, you're not paying 30 euros for a light bulb. And in this studio, for example, where I am now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 17 light bulbs. Could you imagine the cost of replacing those with smart light bulbs? It's actually bad enough replacing all the light bulbs with LEDs in this house. I was buying them in bulk. We have about, I was amazed, we have about 150 light bulbs in this house. And I thought I'd changed every single light bulb, but I keep finding odd ones that I appear to have forgotten. It's weird, I kind of thought I'd gone through every single room in the house and not only counted them but actually replaced them all. And yet, only I think it was last night, I sort of looked up and went, oops, I've forgotten another one. Right, that's starting to fill in now. What I may do at some point is get one of the other colours out, do something in there. Well, now that I've wrapped this canvas around the block of wood, it's a lot more easier to do this with. I am off frame, aren't I? And that the camera is casting a shadow right where the Wanaki, good evening. Yeah, I kind of realised I sort of looked up and looked at the output and thought, and I was thinking nobody mentioned it. Thank you for mentioning it. All the lighting in this room as well is sort of set up to be on the desk, and I just can't really. Can I move one of these around? No, that won't go enough. Ow! There we go. That's a bit better lighting. Good evening. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for dropping in. I don't think I recall seeing your name before. So this is the back of the rug that I'm working on. And what I'll do in a moment is I'll show you the other side. That's the front side of the rug. I've got to remember when I do the other end of this to put a bow in there so it matches on both sides. These two, yes, both of them I made. They were both made on stream as well. This one is anodized aluminium. This one is sterling silver. Chainmail technique. This is one called half Persian, 4-in-1, and this is called a full Persian. Yeah, and the most recent one I made, I made some stainless steel ones and some little tiny. Show you. Now that you've mentioned it. Stainless steel. So this weighs quite a bit. So it's a nice chunky, heavy bracelet. This is called a candy cane because it's got that swirling. That swirling it like a candy cane, Christmas candy cane. And I got two other pieces. Yeah, they are. This one's flat, and this one is sort of more. It's not exactly rounded, but it sort of feels like that. This one is even more rounded. This is this one is round mail. Is what it's called. It was round something, and this is made with. This is what they call micro mail. because the rings I've used in here are 3.2 millimeters in diameter. So when you the bracelet I've put it next to, the rings are 5 millimeters, and these are 3.2. It's a little tiny thing. It takes absolutely ages to make something like that. And this is same rings, but this is a flat bracelet. And the tiny rings make it. It's like it's very much the sort of feels like cloth. It's so flexible. You can tie this in knots without any trouble whatsoever. And of course, being little tiny rings, it sparkles quite nicely. Which one has the nice? Unfortunately, Twitch delay is about 30 seconds. I think there's there's five different weaves in use here. We've got the candy cane, the round mail, the European 4-in-1, full Persian and half Persian 4-in-1. The one that you have on your wrist. Okay. I personally prefer that one myself. This ring, this style rather, the half Persian. It's quite a It's not a difficult. It's a difficult weave to start. Is that? Because you've got to get about 10 rings all interwoven before it's what chainmailers call stable. The pattern doesn't fall apart. When you start with 2 or 3 rings, if you drop it on the table, it's quicker to start again than it is to try and untangle the mess you get out of it. Until you get about 10 rings in place, then it doesn't collapse. You can then carry it on. But the full Persian, you prefer the full Persian? Okay, it's a nice chunky bracelet, and I've got some more of those. Where's the other ones? There's a Christmassy version, red and green. So it's Christmas colours. This one's slightly larger again than that one, but not by much. But they're available in the shop if you'd like to have one for yourself. Wanachi. But yeah. So I do make them from time to time on the stream. Just put these back. Those micromail, the 3.2mm ones, was the ones I did last on the stream, I think. But they took something like, they each took something like about 30 hours, about 10 hours. Yeah, about 10 hours to make. I was thinking about, why was I saying 30? I don't know. They took about 10 hours each to make, did those. So they were quite intensive. I've got a little bit more stainless steel left to make another bracelet out of, and I've got some niobium as well, which is in this particular case a sort of a nice blue and greeny colour, which I want to make something from. But I'll do them on stream at some point in the future. I just don't know when. The shop, if you want to have a look at them, by the way, is zeraganart.etsy.com. Moobot does occasionally put it into chat. Got a bit of a knot developing. Let's just untangle that a little bit. So I'm just thinking, I've got some bright aluminium that I made some stuff out of recently. And I'm trying to think what it was I made. Bright aluminium is hasn't been anodized. It's just been sort of tumbled and polished, so it's not quite as shiny as the silver that you were looking at on my wrist. And I'm now trying to think what it was I made out of it. I know I made something because I've used a complete pack of rings on something. It's got me intrigued enough that I'm going to have to go have a look in a moment. Just to see if I've left the bracelet or whatever it was I made somewhere. I'll leave it over here. No. Wow, what have I done? I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to find that at some point, what I've made of it. Because whenever I try a new metal like the aluminium, it's kind of a shop sample, so it gets then photographed and goes in the shop. Because everything in the shop is made to order rather than from stock. But I know I made it and I haven't put it in the shop yet, so that means it's around somewhere. It's not on the desk because I've tidied the desk up, so I've lost the bracelet. That's not good. Now I'm off camera again, aren't I? Let's pull it and get some more of this wool laid out. We managed to finish that Netflix series now, Wolfie, that you were watching? Or have you still got some more episodes to watch? Wow. I turned one of the spotlights that's on the ceiling round to point down more at the just off the desk here from where it was originally pointed, and it does now make the desk look dark now. Because I didn't design the lighting to have to be working off the edge of the desk, but that's certainly a good idea, Warnachi. The difficulty with that is that the camera is almost at full stretch already. It will actually go a little bit more. The only thing then becomes if I go too far up, then it starts to become like just a little dot that I'm working on. You can't really see what I'm actually doing. So there's a little bit of a trade-off, but see how that goes. See what you think anyway. See whether you think you've got a better view like that, or when it was closer. The camera's mounted on something that looks like an angle poised lamp arm, and it's virtually at full stretch at the moment, is that arm. I am kind of hoping at some point in the future to see if I can get like a microphone stand where I can actually extend it up to about sort of 10 feet tall, and it'll be looking straight down. Oh, You decided you, having watched most of the series, you decided you didn't like it anymore. Well, it happens. Usually between seasons is rather than in the middle of a series, but yeah, it's almost straight now. You watched 2 episodes. Oh, was this a different one? Okay, so you watched 2. I thought it was a continuation of the one you were watching the other night, rather than. Sorry, I'm just a bit slow on these things, aren't I? Can't keep up. Mind you, there are some series that sounds weird, where they start off really badly and then they get better. Yeah, but and it can be really hard to persevere through that those early stages, though. Even if you know it gets better, and obviously, often with TV series, you've got no idea whether it's going to get any better or not. Cutting the thread here now because the gap's getting a little bit large. And essentially it uses just the same amount of wool to cut it and start again as it does to bridge the gaps. So. I'd love to know what keeps chortling on my computer. Don't know whether you actually hear that on stream or not, but it's the sort of noise that the machine makes when OBS crashes. I always hold the needle loosely, because that way if I do sort of jab myself, for example, or it just gets stuck on a thread, I either don't injure myself or I don't rip the canvas. My fingers just sort of slip through or the pen just slips through my fingers. And there we go. Oops. That loop's a little bit big. We'll deal with that afterwards. I don't know quite why it's like that. It's probably just the way to, because that's where one of the triangles starts to come in. Or what it'll do afterwards, if there are any big loops sticking out like that, once I've done a large enough area around it, all I'll do is just take a pair of scissors and just cut the loop, so that you're just left with the end rather than the loop, but it looks the same. Well, that's going to be it for this evening. Unfortunately, although I did start a bit late, I do want to finish on time. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have a bit more luck. Hopefully Ladies Hour's computer continues to work. I don't have another backlight issue or whatever issue it was. But it proved an interesting thing. It's a long time since I've had to diagnose computers, so it was interesting. It was interesting. As I was trying to explain what the matter was. But anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. If you're not already subscribed, if you're not already following, please push the follow button. I do wish Twitch and YouTube would use the same words. So if you're not already following, please follow the channel, tell your friends. It does help the channel out to follow. And if you'd really like to support the channel, of course there's the other two buttons up there. Proceeds of either go towards buying materials for the stream, whether it be rings, needles, wool, wood, carving knives, cameras, tripods, whatever. It all goes towards it and gratefully received. And as I mentioned it earlier, if you're talking of the rings and bracelets as we were, if that's something which is of interest to you, check out the shop, zaragonart.etsy.com, which has quite a few available. They're all to be purchased. They're all made to order though, so they're not sent out from stock, I'm afraid. But at least you know you've got a brand new one specially made for you. If you'd like to see, say, the start of this ring, a rug, it's not a ring, it's a rug, or any of the bracelets being made, anything like that, all the old broadcasts are available to be watched on youtube.com/zaragonart, and you can see 800 hours. That's binge watching if you watch a lot in one go. There is something like about 800 hours of video there almost since I started streaming, which is now about 200 years ago. Yeah, about 2.5 years ago, something like that. A long time. And it's actually quite funny because Twitch is currently telling me, and I think it will probably be tonight, that Twitch will think I have broadcast for 250 hours. That may be since I became an associate. The 250 hours may have started again then, which I do find kind of funny, given that I've got 800 hours of archive. But Twitch does its own stats. So yes, YouTube, if you'd like to see any of those, and of course, great place to keep up to date with the channel. Although there's not a lot gets tweeted out, Twitter is a good place. I do tweet when I go live. He says, wondering if I actually did tonight. And I do tweet if I have a problem with going live, as I did do tonight because of laptop diagnostic reasons. So it's a good place to keep up to date if you want to come and see the broadcast. So thank you everybody again for watching. Hope I'll see you tomorrow, which should be from approximately 7 PM UK time. That's GMT at the moment, also known as UTC. They're very similar but not quite the same. There is something like a 0.9, lots of knots, 1 difference between them. Nearest makes no difference. with that, thank you. Hope I'll see you on the next stream. Bye for now.